Since their introduction in World War I, tanks have become synonymous with military might. These steel behemoths, with their devastating firepower and impressive armor protection, have played a pivotal role in shaping the battlefields of the 20th and 21st centuries. Their ability to break through enemy lines and hold captured territory has cemented their place in modern warfare. However, a tank's effectiveness is not just about brute strength. Design, technology, and logistical support are crucial. Superior design and technology can overcome numerical disadvantages. The German Blitzkrieg showcased the effectiveness of well-coordinated armored forces. The Israeli victory in the Six-Day War highlighted technological superiority and well-trained crews. A tank's effectiveness is about design, technology, and logistical support. Recent conflicts have raised questions about Russian tank capabilities. From Grozny to Syria, Russian tanks have faced significant challenges. Design flaws, technological shortcomings, and logistical vulnerabilities have hampered their performance. These issues have significant implications for Russia's strategic objectives. The design philosophy behind Russian tanks has long been a subject of debate among military analysts. Unlike Western tanks, which often prioritize crew comfort and survivability, Russian tanks have traditionally emphasized ease of production and mass deployment. This approach, born out of the vastness of the Russian landscape and the need to field large armored formations, has resulted in design compromises that impact crew effectiveness and survivability. One of the most glaring design flaws in many Russian tanks is the autoloader. This mechanism, designed to replace a human loader, allows for a smaller crew compartment and a lower profile. However, it comes at a cost. The autoloader, often unreliable and prone to malfunctions, limits the rate of fire and exposes the crew to catastrophic risks if ammunition inside the tank is detonated. Western tanks, typically utilizing a human loader, benefit from a higher rate of fire and increased crew safety, as the ammunition is typically stored in compartments separate from the crew. Another design flaw common to many Russian tanks is the cramped crew compartment. This cramped space, a direct result of the autoloader design, hinders crew efficiency and comfort, leading to fatigue and reduced situational awareness. In contrast, Western tanks, with their more spacious interiors, prioritize crew comfort and ergonomics, recognizing that a well-rested and alert crew is crucial for optimal performance in combat. The cramped conditions inside many Russian tanks also limit the size and stature of potential crew members, further impacting crew selection and training. The T-72, one of the most widely produced tanks in history, embodies many of the design compromises inherent in Soviet and later Russian tank doctrine. Introduced in the 1970s, the T-72 was designed to be a simple, rugged, and easily produced tank capable of mass deployment. While it achieved those goals, it did so at the expense of crew safety and combat effectiveness. The T-72's autoloader, while allowing for a smaller crew and lower profile, proved to be notoriously unreliable and dangerous. Its carousel design, which stored ammunition beneath the turret ring, meant that even a single penetrating hit could ignite the entire ammunition storage, resulting in a catastrophic explosion that would obliterate the tank and its crew. This design flaw, starkly exposed during the Gulf War, earned the T-72 the grim nickname Jack in the Box due to the tendency of its turret to detach and fly high into the air during such detonations. The T-72's armor protection also proved to be inadequate against modern anti-tank weapons. Its reliance on composite armor, while offering some protection against older heat, high-explosive anti-tank rounds, proved ineffective against newer generations of anti-tank missiles and tank-fired kinetic energy penetrators. Furthermore, the T-72's low profile, while offering a smaller target, limited its gun depression, making it unsuitable for hull-down positions and vulnerable in hilly or urban terrain. These design flaws, combined with its cramped interior and poor ergonomics, made the T-72 a death trap for its crews when facing a technologically advanced enemy. Section 4. The T-90, an upgrade but not a solution. The T-90, introduced in the 1990s as a successor to the T-72, attempted to address some of its predecessor's shortcomings. It featured a more powerful engine, improved armor protection, and an updated fire control system. However, it retained the T-72's basic design flaws, including the autoloader and cramped crew compartment. These limitations meant that the T-90, while an improvement over the T-72, remained inferior to its Western counterparts in key areas. The T-90's reliance on Contact 5 explosive reactive armor, while offering some protection against shaped charge warheads, proved less effective against kinetic energy penetrators. Moreover, the ERA itself, posed a significant risk to nearby infantry and could be triggered by small arms fire or shrapnel, creating a hazard for friendly troops. The T-90's fire control system, while an upgrade over the T-72's, still lagged behind Western systems in terms of target acquisition, range, and accuracy. In essence, the T-90 represented an attempt to modernize the T-72 platform rather than a clean-sheet design that addressed the fundamental flaws inherent in Soviet tank doctrine. While it offered improvements in firepower, protection, and mobility, it remained hampered by its autoloader, cramped crew compartment, and a reliance on reactive armor, ultimately failing to close the technological gap with Western tanks. Section 5. Mobility issues, struggling on shifting sands. The vastness of Russia's geography, with its diverse terrain ranging from frozen tundra to scorching deserts, has always posed a challenge for tank designers. While Russian tanks are often lauded for their mobility, particularly on paved roads, their performance in off-road conditions and urban environments has often fallen short of expectations. This is due to a combination of factors, including their suspension systems, engine power, and overall design philosophy. Many Russian tanks, designed for the relatively flat terrain of the North European plain, struggle in hilly or mountainous terrain. Their low ground clearance and limited track articulation hinder their ability to traverse uneven ground, making them vulnerable to enemy fire from higher elevations. This limitation was starkly exposed during the Soviet-Afghan War, where Soviet tanks struggled to navigate the rugged Afghan mountains, making them easy targets for Mujahideen fighters armed with RPGs. Urban environments, with their narrow streets, rubble-strewn avenues, and towering buildings, pose a different set of challenges for tanks. Russian tanks, with their high profiles and limited gun depression, struggle to engage targets in built-up areas. Their lack of situational awareness and vulnerability to ambushes from higher floors make them ill-suited for urban combat, as evidenced by the heavy losses suffered by Russian tank units during the battles for Grozny in the First Chechen War. Section 6. Technological shortcomings, outmatched and outgunned. In the realm of modern tank warfare, technology plays a pivotal role in determining victory or defeat. From advanced fire control systems and sophisticated sensors to long-range optics and networked communications, modern tanks are as much about digital warfare as they are about brute force. In this arena, Russian tanks have consistently lagged behind their Western counterparts, hampered by a combination of budgetary constraints, technological stagnation, and a design philosophy that prioritizes quantity over quality. One of the most significant technological disadvantages faced by Russian tanks is their inferior fire control systems. While Western tanks like the M1 Abrams and Leopard 2 boast advanced digital fire control systems with sophisticated ballistic computers, laser rangefinders, and thermal imaging sights, many Russian tanks rely on older, less accurate systems. This disparity in technology translates into a significant disadvantage in target acquisition, accuracy, and effective range, particularly at night or in adverse weather conditions. Another area where Russian tanks fall short is in their optics and sensors. Western tanks are often equipped with high-quality, long-range optics that allow them to detect and engage targets at distances far beyond the capabilities of many Russian tanks. Furthermore, advanced sensors, including thermal imagers and laser warning systems, provide Western tank crews with a heightened level of situational awareness, allowing them to detect threats and react more quickly in combat. Section 7. Logistical challenges, the Achilles heel of the bear. While tanks are often considered the decisive weapon on the modern battlefield, their effectiveness is inextricably linked to a complex web of logistical support. From fuel and ammunition to spare parts and maintenance crews, tanks are highly demanding assets that require a constant flow of supplies and technical expertise to remain operational. In this regard, the Russian military has long faced significant logistical challenges that have hampered its ability to deploy and sustain its tank forces effectively. The sheer size of Russia's tank fleet, while impressive on paper, poses a significant logistical burden. Maintaining, supplying, and transporting such a vast number of vehicles require an extensive infrastructure of railroads, fuel depots, repair facilities, and trained personnel. The Russian military, despite its size, has struggled to maintain this logistical tail, often resorting to outdated equipment, inadequate infrastructure, and poorly trained conscripts to support its armored formations. These logistical shortcomings have been repeatedly exposed in recent conflicts. During the Chechen Wars, Russian tank columns, plagued by fuel shortages, mechanical breakdowns, and inadequate maintenance, often found themselves stranded or bogged down, vulnerable to ambushes and attacks by Chechen fighters. Similarly, in the Syrian civil war, the performance of Russian tanks has been hampered by logistical constraints, limiting their operational effectiveness and highlighting the challenges of sustaining a modern tank force far from its home base.